Hello everyone, welcome to week 9. We're almost there. Tonight I want to discuss the topic on youth sports and parks and recreation and requests for religious denominations for a middle-sized city and for each religious denomination to have their own leagues within Parks and Rec and how management might address it. I think the first thing would be to require a city meeting that includes representation from each of the religious denominations, as well as I would include parents and people from the school as well, because they have firsthand experience with the students and their exposure to other students within the schools that they attend. So I think for me personally, sports as a young athlete were definitely an opportunity for me to get to know and get exposed to children of a variety of backgrounds, including different ages, sex, race, ethnicity, natural origin, religion, and their abilities. And I believe that it was my first experiences with children that were quote unquote different from me, and the camaraderie and friendly competition that developed through the sport participation was the beginning of me being able to open my eyes and my mind to other cultures and having acceptance for them and realizing that through our chosen sport that we were playing that we had similarities and commonalities and interests that made us similar. I think that in a middle-sized city, new religious denominations will continue to grow, and as more religious groups come in, how many leagues are you going to continue to develop before you realize that there's not going to be enough space to provide for all of them, and there won't be enough funding from Parks and Rec to continue to provide the facilities and the equipment, the coaching, and the necessary finances that are required to provide each league with the same resources. So if one of the leagues of this particular religious denomination decides that they're going to contribute more resources, private funds, to their teams and to their league, it's going to fall back on the Parks and Recreation Department that one group has something more than the other. And eventually that the people are going to come and blame the Parks and Recreation Department and the city in general, just because their children might not have as much as the others do. So I think in the long term it would create a lot of disagreements amongst all of them, and we would result in Parks and Rec having to provide more resources that they may not have, and possibly could be the end of what they are giving to the youth sports programs. And it would require a lot of changes to the practices with regards to getting coaches, referees, depending on the sports that they're playing, because there's certain religious groups that don't believe in some sports and might have different beliefs for how the sport should be played. In the long run, if these students or children are all attending the same schools in middle school and in high school and moving on, they're going to need to be able to practice and play with each other and be able to compete against one another and understand that there's going to be people of different backgrounds in them that are involved in these sports. So I guess I really am not a true believer that it would be a good thing to do that. For me, it reminds me of segregation of schools, and on a smaller scale, but it would create such a problem for the future of these young athletes and of these children in particular, because I think the segregation would make them think that they are something different and better. And we need to understand, and the youth generation needs to understand, most important, that there are places that we can have our own private cultures and beliefs and within your religion, and that's your personal sanctuary of where you go to worship and where you go to pray and whatever it is that you do within your particular religion. But there's some places out there that the world exists and everyone else is out there. And to try to separate that, I think, would create something devastating for the future of these young athletes. So many people might not agree with me based on some of the videos that I saw, but I have to think that this is where I really, as a child myself, found my roots in being able to adapt to diversity and to people of different cultures and religion and other beliefs in general. So that's it. Have a great night.